up YouTube and then say hello to people. Yeah, it was a really good beginning to the week. All right, let's see. Cool. All right, guys, what's up on YouTube? Hello, YouTube. This is Bullish Bears Dan. I'm going to stream the pre-market for you guys today. I'm also streaming in our trade room. You guys can join our trade room, bullishbears.com. Come on in and hang out with us. We've got multiple stream rooms, lots of content, and juicy private videos for our members. And that library is growing every single day. So let's get into it. Just going to walk through the watch list we've got so far. CODX, or CODX. This had a announcement. They launched a Vector Smart NAM test to identify the presence of multiple diseases in mosquito populations. And I don't know where you guys live, but it seems like mosquitoes are everywhere I go. They appear to like me a lot. I was at my friend's house down in the DC area, and his neighbors spray for mosquitoes. And despite the spraying, there was, you couldn't see any bugs. They say they go outside, they never get bit. Of course, I come to visit, and what happens? I get bit and ravaged, and I still have to put on like that Skin So Soft bug repellent. So, if this company CODX can rid the world of mosquito diseases and then potentially mosquitoes, I would be extremely grateful. Morning, Big Bear. So CODX, we have some Fibonacci levels that I have listed here. I need to edit these. I'm just going to show you how I edit these live. A lot of times these levels change throughout the year or month or whatever the time period is, depending on the type of the retracement. And I got to go in and redo it. So you can see right here, I've customized my Fibonacci to fit my style. You can see that we're extremely overbought on a 4-hour period. The TTM squeeze on balance volume, excuse me, and etc. We've got good bullish indicators moving up, but we're kind of paused at this percentage fib right now. We're kind of taking a little bit. You notice the 4-hour closed below it, and now this 4-hour is trying to get above it. Really what's happening on the 5-minute chart is we have this move up. There was a potential for a pennant to continue. Instead, it broke. Those are typically, nothing worse than when a bullish pattern breaks down and you get this, move where everybody says, well, the heck with this, I'm stopping out. They take their profits. Anybody that was in here is taking their profits here. Anybody that jumped in here to scalp this took their profits. And if you see this volume, guys, in the pre-market, and you're an experienced trader, you know what you're doing, you know the mechanics of trading, you can trade this as long as you see good liquidity. Good liquidity means good volume, nice bid-ask spread. It's not, a gigantic spread. If this thing is trading like it trades in regular hours, this could be a really good time for you to trade. You could actually end your trading day before the bell. I know lots of people that attempt to do that when they can, when the opportunity comes up, and what a marvelous thing to do. So there you go with an example of the early bird catching the worm. So when these little pennants fail, there's potential for a consolidation triangle. Now these are kind of mini descending triangles, but they're part of another pattern, which you could consider this still either a larger pennant or a larger flag. You look for some type of indication that the security is oversold. There's going to be some kind of a bounce, and I would look for a bounce right now. If this thing can consolidate nicely at this fib level, which is right at about $1.50, then there's potential for some really good things to happen. Let's jump back over to the 4-hour chart. You can see I charted this thing extensively up through the pre-market, and it actually hit a 50% retracement, which is often a target that I use for trading. So you guys are going to hear that a lot from me. I'm always looking for 50% retracements on catalyst news, momentum breakouts, especially in the penny stock world. It doesn't happen all the time, but there's a I should probably go back and check. I bet you there'd be some pretty interesting statistics if I went and measured, and just took the time, made a logbook of every penny stock that retraces 50% minor with a certain criteria, right? And just go through and just measure the data. So looking at this, it's really hard to get angular resistance on this 4-hour chart. There's a lot of data and kind of noise on my chart, and I'm not seeing a good, clear directional angular resistance on it. But I do see overboughtness, chance for this thing to just squeeze. I believe the short float on CODX was 5.5% roughly. So those shorts could get squeezed a little bit more. If we go and look at the daily chart, which is kind of a mess, I admit, and we try to hone in on this peak. Let's see, we cut through that one, but did we? It looks like we roughly hit the top of this. You just kind of look, just go back and look. This thing's been in a massive downtrend, a massive descending triangle. It's broke out of it once. It dojied out of it again. You've got your, 50 SMA in purple. You've got your 9, your 100, and your 100 is actually up here. This is the VWAP for day, which we're not paying attention to that at this moment. But there's potential for this stock. We want to set our targets now to hit. And I'm going to color code it so I know it's a daily moving average. Now you can do this with TrendSpider, but there's my 100 SMA target up there, and I can actually go back, and if this thing decides to, get really wacky and make a run for the 200, well, then I can set another bar up here, and I can watch it hit that daily moving average on an intraday chart. Although I will split up my chart later when we start streaming into 2 charts and get that rigged up for us. But at this point, I want to show you guys a nice big clean screen with some good indicators and price action so we know what the heck we're doing today. So that is CODX. Next, let's take a look at FRSX just because it's on the gappers. And we got FRSX. We have looks like a minor retracement. If we go back, yeah, let's see, we went back 30 minutes. Let's go back. It's a pretty actually long, it's a major retracement, being completely fair. If we look at the daily chart, I think I'm going to erase it to just get some really clear data because there's a lot of gaps and jumping around on this price action. So we've got 70 cents as a bottom, and we've got, I can't be right, 235 was not the top. There we go, 294. So we can edit that out quick. I love when I'm within just a few cents anyways. And now we got our magnets for price. We've got mechanical support and resistance for intraday trading, and we will see where price consolidates along these lines. You could see this is a 50% retracement right here in bright blue. Spent quite a bit of time above it, popped off, and now we've got this move building up below 220. Yes, it hit 250. That's a good $0.50 psychological. We're back below these next 2 fibs. We're back below VWAP. These guys announced that they had iNet Mobile, a subsidiary, which will conduct a trial of its iNet cellular-based accident prevention solution. So it's a catalyst. It's not like a crazy catalyst that would necessarily move the stock tons and tons and tons, but it's news, and what happens when news hits and a stock's been either uptrending or downtrending. This thing has been uptrending after being just completely in a very nasty bearish trend. Its bullish trend has been moving up. We got extreme volume on this day, which created this really long inverted hammer and then consolidation. we could end up with another one of those candles similar to this. Doesn't mean it's going to close up high, but we might get a touch of that depending on how the shorts behave, depending on how the action is. I don't know what the short flow is on this. Oddly, Trade Ideas is not telling me, so I can't particularly comment on that, but I can comment and say that, you know, this current pattern, I would look for some kind of ascending, possibly a channel, megaphone. I like the consolidation of volume and price action. The tightening of the moving averages and VWAP is appealing. The way TTM is focused, the way my RSI divergence study is showing me a potential breakout coming with these two green little dots. I've got some on-balance volume pinching. So there's a lot of things I do like. The pattern I'm not crazy about. It's very sloppy, but there could be something really good there. So that's FRSX. Let's take a look at SPY quickly. So SPY did something that shocked the bears. I know there's a lot for the bears to be concerned about with just everything, you name it. Economy, economic data, Fed, you know, political turmoil, war, all that stuff, right? The list is pretty endless. Inverted, you know, federal funds rate and the yields. You've got things that are, you know, signaling potential bearishness on the horizon. Despite that, we moved all the way up to this channel. We actually created a channel, and you know, we hit it here, we pulled back, and then we hit it here again with SPY, and we're having trouble with 300, but we are butted up right against it. Did we actually hit 300 in the pre-market? I don't think so. No, we did not. But we're right up against this hardcore channel trend line. So we shall see if we break out. If we do decide to break out on SPY, I have a further out trend line that's acting as a magnet for price and bulls. This goes out to the peak back in early 18. It goes back to the peak in September of the same year, leading into the October sell-off. And then we have our rising wedge situation with the December lows of 19. And we have this kind of new wedge formation that's currently holding price. But when things are bullish in terms of pattern and price action and volume, despite all the news, despite all the, you know, doom and gloom that announcers are making on CNBC or whatever channel, this type of price action riding along the 9, we're above the 50 SMA, we're moving on up. So we're moving on up, and we may break this line, and if we do, I will look to take profits on any longs on any mid or large cap stocks, as well as potentially trading SPY up to this level. It's a moving target, and it's roughly 303 to 304 we could potentially hit if we break on high volume and move up. There's some very kind of suspect overbought, you know, slowing momentum, overboughtness on RSI, some bearish divergence, but it can actually stay that way and still move up. The candlestick patterns are not necessarily bearish. They're very kind of gappy and spinning top-ish, and it's kind of a little all over the place. So, you know, that's just the action we have to play. But on an intraday level, we will see what type of opportunities arise. There's a potential new vector that's forming here with this low, potential for a low here today, and then an ascending triangle breakout. So if you don't know what ascending triangle breakout is, come take our free course, watch the video, and then you will see these patterns absolutely everywhere. Sorry guys, I just reading the YouTube. I'm in my chat room too, so I kind of hop back and forth. The first one I was talking about was CODX. The second one was FRSX. And now here we are on SPY. So Yeah, I don't like going short or going. So when the market's like this, I would prefer to dip buy than short the pullbacks. I seem to do better dip buying than I do short-term puts, if that makes sense. Unless they're really short-term, and I mean like a half hour. You got like a half hour to basically short, and then the market's swinging right back up. So let's see, what else did I say I was going to cover? I'm going to cover rig, which, is influenced by oil. One thing we have to know about the market is that these futures markets, oil, gold, they have some effect. The dollar. Oil is currently in a bullish sentiment. It's broke a major angular trend line and is now proceeding into my GAN fans. If you guys want to know what GAN angles or GAN fans are, we have a post on our blog about it. This potential GAN angle or fan may stifle the price action on oil a little bit. It's a pretty big move so far, going back to mid-June, so that might slow SPY and oil down a little bit. But despite that, we have rig posted on our watch list, and we have an alert set for it. Rig is actually current above the alert level. If oil decides to bull today and rig decides to hold this upper level above this trade alert, which has been marked out. This is something we list on our site for members. There is a really good potential trade for this thing to potentially megaphone. There's a very tight vector on it right now, angular resistance, trying to kind of keep it contained. Very tight little channel, right? This is like kind of a tight rising wedge, but a lot of times these bullish, these actually bearish reversal patterns break out to the upside. They get squeezed to the upside, and when patterns fail and they fail in the other direction, it's typically indicative of a nice strong move. So the hourly is a little bit rough on rig in terms of momentum wise. We've kind of really moved up quite a bit with our RSI or TTM squeeze, our on balance volumes showing some potential slowdown, but this could quickly pop up and flag and do something. So we're going to watch that level. It's interesting to us. You guys are asking me to take a look at TRNX, Tyrannus. So you've got a pretty long trending down channel where price was able to break out above it, got pulled back to it. Now we're getting back above the 50. I like what I'm seeing on my on balance volume divergence here. You have to be careful because sometimes these get above and then you get a red dot, and then that's a bad signal that it's potentially going to pull back. You had the TTM squeeze getting ready to fire, but it went into the pre-market, so the data's kind of mixed. But now at this point, it looks like this thing is having a very strong open. I would do this is the way I like to do my retracements. So rather than, let's see what time we got. We got about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to have to go a little bit sooner than that. So essentially, this thing is breaking its 50% retracement right here. That is this bright blue line. If it does break that, pull above, go above it and retest it, this thing could potentially bull higher. So you have to trade the momentum. If you don't know how to use momentum moving averages properly, candlestick patterns, again, come on over to the Bullish Bears, guys. We got tons of free courses. You don't have to pay us a dime. Come in, take our free courses. If you decide you want to get more content, more analysis, hop in the trade rooms with us, learn, real actionable trading, not just like come in and then we try to sell you something else that's really huge. We do. We have a small membership. We're a small group, and it helps, pay our website bills, our maintenance, and we pay some really good traders who come out and help teach, and they spend a lot of time giving you guys the goods. So thanks for watching on YouTube, guys. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to hop back over into our trade room. I wish you guys all the best in trading today. Stay focused. Lots of good setups up there. I mean, I couldn't name them all. But you guys have a great day. Thank you. All right, so let's switch over to our main chart setup. There's the 50. Nope, nothing on that yet. CDEV. Oh, that's the 15-minute. Let's throw on the 5. I got to get the 5-minute charts. I think I played with some of the time frames on here. This WAAS is interesting to me. It made a really nice big move. If you guys hear those dings, those are the on balance volume divergence crossovers. They will ding during crosses, but that doesn't actually confirm it. It's actually just identifying it. And it sometimes will reverse back the other way immediately. So that's something that we got to be aware of. Man, SPY just hanging out near that roof. All right, CODX, massive amount of volume. 5-minute candle needs to close above I'm going to say 160. But you still have this right angle to contend with. But the amount of volume coming in on CODX is phenomenal. So I'm going to show you that. First, I'm going to move some stuff around to do so. Charlie, Oliver, Delta, X-ray. All right, so let's remember this hourly candle. We've got some bearish divergence. TTM's already squeezing. You know, this thing, what's the 5-minute price action going to do? See, the volume is hot. It doesn't necessarily mean it's got strong. Let's get time and sales on here. And I'm going to congest my chart a little bit further with level 2. All right, so there's a good position on RSI. There's a good position on on-balance volume. I'm going to watch for this TTM momentum to start, these bars to kind of start shrinking. I really want this right angle and VWAP to be pierced. 166 is going to be a big area, so if you can get some kind of limit order in that level with an appropriate stop, we do have potential to hit the $2 range. So 160, 169, 165 is going to be nice. Let's see where people are sitting right now. They're sitting on 162, bids at 162. It's fluctuating pretty quick on the bid ask. And hang on, let me get my pointer focus on. Make sure you guys can follow. Okay, so here we go. 166, 167, 5-minute candles got, well, we're more than halfway through the 5-minute candle. So let's pop on the 1-minute chart real quick. CODX. All right, so here we go. This 1-minute candle needs to break this trend line. It's already technically in the buy zone. There is 2 seconds, 1 second left on this candle, closed above. Watch for the retest here. Watch for the retest of this trend line, and then buyers to step back in. So they're going to try to bid 167, 170, somewhere a little bit lower to try to fill their orders to get a good order. The amount of volume is extremely high. We got our first yellow bar. Would love to get a green dot down here too. Would be nice. And they're pushing it down pretty hard right now. Okay, let's see what they do with this. This is a 30 seconds to close this candle, so the bulls really have to push back up above this line if they're going to do it. Otherwise, we might be witnessing a very nasty bull trap. Nasty. And that's why I watch my market clock to keep a dang close eye on where these buyers and sellers are sneaking in. What are they thinking? So volume super high. This is a bullish engulfing. First 5-minute candle's done. Now we're watching 1-minute candles for building, and we're watching 5-minute candles to try to overtake this VWAP. I'm going to, let me just load my study set. MAs with, yeah, let's get this bad boy on here. There we go. Nah, we got some nice candles now. All right, I like the way this is scaled right now. Love the TTM squeeze. Here we go, guys. All right, here's the move right here. We're breaking above this trend line, so we got a pretty nice pullback. Nice, sitting nice on the bid at 163 right now. Oh, they're moving that. There's still more people trying to sit on that. Let's see if this 9 EMA holds. Man, we didn't get a close above that trend line, so that's not fantastic. These wicks right now are starting to show on the 5-minute pretty strong bears in here, but they haven't broken the baseline. The baseline support, the belt hold, is currently 145 according to my glasses. According to what I can see now with my glasses. Been squinting a lot lately and said, all right, it's time to start wearing the specs. All right, so meanwhile, let's look at our watch list. I'm not watching our entire watch list, but there is some good stuff going on out there. SPY's looking a little weak, a little top heavy. Intel's looking pretty nice. Let's see. MU had some rapid fire. So just to talk about just briefly, a large cap MU had some rapid fire calls flow through on black box stocks, but I don't know if I necessarily like that right now with looking at the hourly chart. But there might be a bounce play on Roku after this. I'm sorry, on MU after that little pullback. Kind of mixed results. There's some bearish flow and bullish flow on the options going on right now today. All right, so CODX, I'm going to monitor this, guys. It's still stuck inside this triangle, so we can't do anything with that. We could try to buy on the low, and if we can get a limit order filled at 146, but I don't know if I would waste your trade on that. I mean, that's the bottom of the range, so this might not be the best setup to watch. CVIA is actually moving on pretty light volume, which is typical for our watch list. But in terms of the TTM squeeze and the on-balance volume crossover, you know, RSI, 5-minute RSI can stay overbought for a while. This thing could run for 20, 30 minutes. It's hitting a high of 193, and that is kind of attractive to me. Let me make sure that shows up there. Let me give myself a couple extra bars. Let's see that 1 minute. Yeah, that 1 minute starting to fire. Need to see this crossover here would be nice. So there could be a good entry coming on CVIA soon. FRSX is below my current support trend line. CODX is trying with all its might, like the little engine that could. So let's go back. We got a, ooh, what's this? Look at all these dots right here and crossover. So here's VWAP right here. I'll get my cursor out of the way, but watch this spot right here, okay? These are buyers trying to push this up. Sellers are trying to push back down. Yeah, there could be some buyers in here looking to take profit, but there's still another group trying to come in and push this up. And this 5-minute candle, currently high wave-ish, spinning top-ish, has 5 seconds left on a close. It's going to close above this 5-minute candle. Here's our next 5-minute candle. Let's watch this 1 minute. And let's watch the dang volume and see if the volume pops up. You need to be ready with your limit orders, with your hotkeys, with a buffer to try to get filled in on this as this crosses VWAP and breaks this line if it's going to close above it. And you got about 40 seconds for that to happen. That's sort of happening right here. I'm seeing a lot of decent stuff on the tape. I don't see. Oh, I saw one large seller. There's some big sellers in the 160s, 65 range, but they could get eaten up if they're not careful. I don't think they're gonna. Here we go. What do we got? We got 13 seconds left on this close. So really good. So we have our next resistance at 170, but because of the angular, I'm really liking it. There is one thing to watch out for, and that is this zone for any hidden bears. Now above this zone, you're talking about a much better breakout. Right now, you're just talking a 165 to 171 scalp, but this 5-minute chart has started to flow a little bit in the direction that